up, everybody, and welcome back to another Marvel Monday episode with the Nerdy Misfits. And today we'll be talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp. Coming off a very hype last week of Infinity War. And now we're diving just into Ant-Man.
And the Wasp.
Just a little bit of relaxing.
Exactly. We got some cast members we've seen from the first one, like Paul Rudd, Evelina Lilly, Michael Douglas, Michael Pena, David Dastamat. I can never pronounce his last name. Dastamalchayan, Tip T.I. Harris. Those are like the big ones that we see from the first one. But the second one, we got Hannah John Kamen as Ava Star / Ghost. We got Michelle Pfeiffer as Janet Van Dyne. We got Lawrence Fishburne as Bill Foster. We got Bobby Cannavale as Jim Paxton.
Lawrence Fishburne.
What a great cast. Love that guy. His voice is
I'm surprised they didn't pick someone else to have longer in the MCU.
I agree.
Like a different casting.
Yeah.
But yeah, IMDb score of 7 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, 87 from critics, 79 from audience. Budget of 130 to 195, so let's just say 200. Box office was 622, so still did very well.
Yep.
Shocker, you're going to be really shocked here. The studio is Marvel.
What?
Director was Peyton Reed, and the release date was July 6th of 2018. So yeah, I guess we'll dive quickly into kind of what happens in the film. So Scott Lang is days away from finishing his 2-year house arrest after siding with Captain America during Civil War. Basically, the setup is that Hank Pym and Hope the Wasp, kidnap Scott because he has a strange dream vision, and they realize that there can be some sort of relationship with him and their mom / wife. So they just kind of snag him, like, we need to make this work. And it was worth mentioning, they're not on speaking terms at this point.
Yes, they haven't talked to him in 2 years because of the
incident of him taking the Ant-Man suit
to Germany,
but more so also just not talking to them about doing it, because basically it's heavily implied that they would have just gone with it.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, going against Tony Stark, I'm sure Hank Pym is not it would never be like, yeah, we're siding with Tony Stark.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, Hank and Hope have built a shrinking mobile laboratory housing the quantum tunnel to mount a rescue mission. The trio is hunted by 2 separate threats. We got Sonny Birch as a sleazy black market tech dealer looking to steal and sell Pym's research, and Ghost, Ava Star, who is a woman suffering from molecular instability who wants to drain Janet's quantum energy to cure herself. You know, regular
Classic.
stuff.
Exactly.
Regular villain stuff. Well, one of them definitely is.
Yep.
Massive size-shifting car chase through San Francisco, which is probably the highlight of the movie. Which is very bizarre to say that a chase, like a proper car chase sequence is like...
the best part of a superhero movie?
Not the best part of a superhero film, but the best part of, like, when you think of Ant-Man.
Yeah.
You know, like, because we had a really cool one in Captain America. Not that it was the best of it in Winter Soldier, but it was awesome to have.
Yeah.
It's just not what you think of first. And yeah, basically it ends off with Hank and Janet. Hank diving down to save Janet, safely returns, and then we learn that there's she's got some powers because it's a superhero film.
Yep.
And you just get that from the quantum realm, bro.
Exactly, for being there for 30 years.
And so she stabilizes Ghost, just
casual.
raw dogs it.
Yep.
No tech needed. And then sneak back to Scott's house just in time to fool the FBI into undoing his ankle bracelet so he can go exist in life again. And then obviously the biggest impact as far as the MCU is concerned is kind of the first post-credit scene, which is Scott. They're kind of doing more quantum realm research, and they're going to send Scott to the quantum realm and bring him back. And no one's there to bring him back.
They don't.
Because
they got dusted.
He kind of got a little bit of the Tony Stark coin there.
Yeah.
Where everyone with him
disappeared.
Was blipped. Yeah. So I guess we'll jump into some of your likes, Matt.
I think the chemistry between actors is great. I think overall the cast has a really good like on-screen presence together, bouncing off each other.
You can tell it's definitely their second film too. Not that they were bad in the first one, but
but
they just keep it. It's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy almost, where like you can just tell that they just fit.
Exactly. Anytime like they're small, I think the scenes still hold up.
Mhm.
Just as good as the first one. I think like
Yeah, the effects are good. The
Yeah.
attention to detail for some of the elements.
exactly, and then the supporting group. I think like Scott Lang's like three friends. Like
Oh, they're great.
They're the highlight of the movie,
They're so good.
in my opinion. You got any likes?
I said that I enjoyed the movie a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Okay,
I feel like I had a bad memory of the film,
fair.
and then I watched it and I was like, I didn't like there. I have some dislikes, but a lot of them are a lot more nitpicky than they are like, oh, this ruined the film for me. Overall, I thought it was actually pretty decent. It can't really be a standalone superhero because you do need to
Yeah.
watch Ant-Man to get a lot of, and I feel like you need to watch Civil War to also have a bit of an understanding of the drama there.
Yep.
But it is a very decent Marvel film. It's not the best, but it's definitely nowhere near the worst. And if you like Marvel humor, I feel like we say that most of the time, but
Yeah, it works.
really well delivered. It's almost like they have a comedic actor as the
Crazy
MC,
concept.
and he does a really good job.
Exactly.
As for dislikes, I guess we'll dump into that. Do you have a larger list for this as well?
I got 4.
Okay, so I have. They didn't mention much to do with time. This is more towards the conclusion, and this is when Janet takes over Scott's body, and she's like, "Oh, like you have you only have 2 hours to get to me, blah 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 blah,
Yeah.
because of whatever cycle or something." And it's just like none of that, like the cycle stuff, was mentioned at all.
Yeah.
So it just kind of feels like a crazy ass pull. So that's kind of
Agreed.
why I'm being a little bit nitpicky there, because a lot of times I feel like Marvel movies do at least hint at, hey, this, and almost to an obvious standpoint where like, oh, like that's gonna play a factor later, but they don't even talk about that.
No.
And then all of a sudden she's like, oh, you only have 2 hours,
You're
when
like, oh,
meanwhile we want the whole film being like, they just need to find her. But
exactly.
now all of a sudden,
There's
to
a time
increase
limit.
that ante, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
almost artificially creating a more drama, and I just feel like,
It was late to the punch for that story.
well, I just feel like it's unnecessary. You don't need to create more artificial drama by adding a timer on it.
Exactly.
If there was because of brought throughout the whole movie, then sure, that's fine. But I found that to be a little odd. This is more of just a me thing. I think some Ant-Man overall, you really have to be immersed and just kind of accept everything as a superhero film when it comes to Ant-Man. I was watching this with my girlfriend, and she's like, the quantum realm makes no sense. Like, how can they breathe if you're smaller than oxygen? And like, all these like,
yeah, technicalities.
and you're like, well, the quantum realm's different. Like, so you can ignore that, but then you're also shrinking and certain other things are happening. There are points where if you do have some scientific background of any kind, you're kind of like,
does it work?
that's a little immersion breaking. I think that maybe that's just how some superheroes are. It doesn't ruin it all for me, but when someone else is mentioning, hey, that, and you're like, well,
Actually,
it's a superhero film.
yeah. I do have a point in regards to that of the science of it, and my point is, how does weight work? Because I feel like in the first Ant-Man, we're told like when you shrink, like anything shrinks down, it like holds the same amount of weight.
Because your mass is the same.
Yeah,
It's just
but
you're small.
then in this one, he shrinks an entire
A
building
building, and
down, and he uses it as like.
I see your point. You're
Yeah.
saying, why are they able to just pull a building?
Exactly.
Maybe they don't mention it, but the wheels are doing a lot of the work.
Made of vibranium somehow. Yeah, that's like my thing. I was like, the weight doesn't make sense because then also he's using like Duracell batteries, like AA's, to like help charge certain things, but they're giant size. And how does that work energy wise? Again, this is nitpicky to
Yes,
the
but
extreme.
so it's in the same thing. Some of the
Yeah.
science is weird or doesn't
Exactly.
line up with maybe some of the stuff that they established in Ant-Man 1, bringing it to Ant-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is nitpicky, but it is worth noting.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of irritated at how mad Hope and Hank are at Scott for not wanting to leave his house when he's 2-3 days away from being able to be with his family again. I understand that from their point of view, they also want to be reunited with their family,
Yeah.
but based on how the things are going, you could almost argue, yes, okay, Ghost conveniently ends up attacking them at that time, and
Yeah.
the sleazebag is also trying to steal their stuff at that time. But they could have also just pushed things 3 days
But the 2 hours.
and had Scott. I know, and that's the thing, right? Like, that's not mentioned at all. But you could have just been like, okay,
Yeah.
when Scott's out of house arrest, which also relieves a whole massive stress point of the movie, then we can grab him and we'll figure this out.
Exactly.
And I just didn't like how little care they had. Like, Scott obviously cared to want to help them. Like, he's
Mhm.
like, I want to help you. But they never even like seem or feel bad that he may get caught and go to prison and never like not really get
See
to
his
spend time
family
with his
ever
daughter
again,
and stuff.
yeah.
So I just found that was out of character for them, as they've obviously worked with Scott and know his family.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I found that a little bit heartless. I understand their point of view is they're trying to
Yeah.
save a mom and a wife. But also that mom and wife's been gone for how long?
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. That was just
That's fair.
a little cold feeling.
Yeah.
Then the last one I had was the movie actually felt pretty long.
I have that. The pacing felt very slow.
I thought when Scott broke out Hope and Hank, I was like, oh, we're on the final act. And then I looked and it was only halfway through the film. And I was like,
Last thing is, one of my notes is it took a while to actually figure out the villain as well, because we see Ghost like briefly in the beginning, but we don't actually fully get introduced to Ghost until like almost the halfway point in the movie. Like there was just so much setup of the quantum realm, and it was just like
well, it just felt like we're
lot.
our natural, like kind of moving up, right? Them getting captured, like Hope and
Yeah.
Hank. And you're like, Scott deciding, I'm helping them. I'm going to free them. He frees them. And you're like, okay, now we're working towards like the come down. We're going to try and save the mom. But then no. There's a whole
But
half
then
a
there's
movie.
also there's a whole subplot of like the black market dealer as well, and you're
I
like,
just really didn't care for
that
him.
was not needed.
Yeah, I didn't care for his
It just felt like they needed to
addition.
give Wasp a plot point more than just saving the mom, because that was like the overall plot.
But they
I
could have
don't
just
know.
had Ghost be the overall
Exactly.
bad, or even make Lawrence Fishburne's character,
More present.
or even like a little bit more not evil, but like
Yeah.
kind of like feeling more spited and being kind
Yeah.
of like, yeah, I'm helping Ghost, but I'm not really helping. I'm helping myself by using
Yeah.
them. You know, I mean that's classic superhero villainry, but
Yeah. My nitpick for Lawrence Fishburne's character, Bill Foster, is that we get introduced to him, and then like boom, 15 minutes later, he's connected to the bad guy. Like there was no like build up for him. Again, that's just me nitpicking story.
he wasn't bad.
Yeah, he just wasn't good. Like he was just selfish. in
Yeah,
his
he was.
situation.
It was
Yeah.
more just like his own decisions to not involve
Yeah.
Hank, because
just
him and
like-
Hank have a falling out.
Yeah, but it was just like, oh, let's go introduce you to this brand new character who used to work with Hank.
Yeah, it's
And
more of
then-
like an ego thing.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I don't need Hank Pym.
Yeah, but I think for me it was just like, oh, cool, a new character for the film. Like he's the Goliath or whatever, right? And then it's just like, oh, that scene ends. Next scene they get kidnapped. Boom, wake up. Oh, the dude we just met's also involved in the bad guy. Like the pacing for me, like I don't know, the pacing for the film overall just felt
It was
like
a
ups
little
and downs
not
and
the
stuff
best.
like that. Yeah, just didn't live up to the first one.
Favorite moment, I think for me, similar to you, in Ant-Man 1, we both loved the epic end fight where you have Thomas the Tank Engine,
Yeah.
like toys, things that just seem absurd when they're big. So I'm assuming for you, we had scenes with Hot Wheels, we had the Pez.
Yeah,
So I think that those are just really fun.
I have Hot Wheels is one of my favorite
Yeah,
moments.
I feel like in this style of film, that's something you don't see a lot, and
Yeah.
I think that just makes it more fun because you can't do that in Captain America,
No, gosh no.
but you can do it in Ant-Man.
Yeah.
You can just throw a Hello Kitty massive Pez dispenser out the car. Why not? I think that's flexing what Ant-Man can do,
Yeah, exactly.
and I think that's why I enjoy those moments a lot.
That's fair. I got the Hot Wheels as one of my favorite moments, along with scenes with Jimmy Woo, like the FBI. I just thought him and Paul Rudd have good chemistry
Yeah,
of just being like the magic tricks and like, no wait, how did you do that, Scott?
yeah, and he's like thinking, and he's like the trick, and he's like,
Yeah.
it's like so
Yeah.
unserious.
And then it's just like, oh, were you offering me to go to dinner? No, I wasn't. Did you want to go for dinner? I'm just like, it was just fun. And then this is one of my favorite moments / an Easter eggy, because it's a nod to the Captain America movies, is that they put on hats and sunglasses, and Scott's just like, "What, are we just going to a baseball game? Like, how is this going to protect our identity?"
Yeah, how are we being hidden?
But I'm like,
What other Easter eggs do you have from the film?
there wasn't a lot that I could really find. Obviously, Bill Foster being Goliath, not really an Easter egg, but it's a name drop.
It's a name drop, yeah.
When they go visit him at school, he's a professor, and behind him literally says the word Matrix, because obviously he's Morpheus from the Matrix films. And then Ghost says her dad's name is Elias Starr, who is Egghead in the comics.
Oh, okay.
But she is an original character to the MCU. She doesn't have a comic book background. I think she does now.
Well, I mean, makes sense.
Probably, but she was new to the MCU.
Okay.
And then moving into the importance of the overall story of MCU, Ghost is important because she obviously comes back in the future.
She comes back later. Hope's mom.
Wasp as a whole. The van.
I guess, but I mean, the van is more related to the whole post-credit scene.
No, but the van, like, they use the van in Endgame.
Oh, yeah, I guess they do, yeah.
So, and the quantum suits is what Scott is wearing, is what they also try and recreate for, I think.
They use for the time travel.
And then I also say Jimmy Woo, just because he comes back in WandaVision.
Okay, sure.
A reoccurring character.
Sure. Stan Lee's cameo is his car is shrunk during the chase scene by Hope, and he says the 60s were fun, but now he's paying for it.
Yes.
And then the final post-credit scene was just an ant jamming out on like rock band drums or whatever they were.
Yeah. And that's Ant-Man and the Wasp.
That is Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Do you agree with the audience score of a 79%?
I'm kind of in the middle. I think, like, compared to critics and audience, I think they're usually somewhat polarizing a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I would say I kind of am leading to the audience of like,
like 8 out of 10.
8. If you want to be a little bit, if you want to be super critical about maybe the overall story pacing and maybe how certain characters could have been written better, then probably it's a little lower. But if you're kind of just accepting it as a fun superhero film, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I think overall. That wraps up Ant-Man and the Wasp. We only have 3 movies left of Phase 3, so stay tuned for next week where we chat all about Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel, we're coming.